All right, everyone, welcome back to another night of David's Saturday Night Sit Back. Tonight, sitting back with me, I got comedian Joe McNamara. He is an Austin-based stand-up comedian. He was a business management from Texas State University, San Marcos, where he was also part of Theta Lambda Kappa Sigma. Joe's journey went from being a sales rep for a pest management company to being an ambassador for a marketing company, and finally today he's touring the country bringing laughter to the good people of the USA. He's performed 3 times on Kill Tony, and he came on the show tonight to talk all things comedy, sobriety, condemas, and a variety of aspects that the great town of Austin brings to the table. Joe, thank you for being here, and welcome to your episode on David's Saturday Night Sit Back.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be here. This is cool.
How long have you been in Austin for?
I've been in Austin. So you read just then, I was at Texas State. I've been in Austin since I graduated from college. I want to say 4 years now, because I graduated December 2020. So yeah, 4 years now in Austin.
How do you like it?
Dude, I love it. I knew comedy was something I wanted to take more seriously. And with everything happening in the pandemic, it just made sense to come to Austin. It was, 30 minutes, or like, am I go to the hub on the West Coast or the hub on the Northeast Coast, or am I going to go to this cool new spot that's supposedly going to be a hub, which we found out it now very much is.
It's a little bit.
Central Texas. And I'm like, that's awesome. I get to stay here.
Yeah. I wonder where it's going to go in the next decade.
It's going to be crazy. It's insane.
Yeah. Just because, there's such an influx of comedians, and I feel like even everyone from companies moving their headquarters here. You got schmucks like me coming here to start podcasts because I want to talk to all the other interesting people that are moving here. I wonder where it goes. I hope regardless of where it goes, I hope the naturey aspect of it stays.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty city.
Yeah, that's my other favorite part. I mean, right now it's kind of tough because we were talking about it before we started, but it's so hot right now. And I have family in the Northwest, and I try to spend a lot of time there in the summer because it's the perfect summer. And then I come back to Texas, and I'm like, oh my God, Texas is the worst. But as soon as September hits, I'm like, oh yeah, I like being here. This is great.
I do. I love the winter time here. I got a fireplace over there, so I like that thing up all the time. One thing I am grateful for is that at least it's not like North Carolina hot, where it's super humid. I had a buddy that lived there for a while, and he told me he'd get out of the shower and be trying to dry himself off, and it was so humid, he would just get moist again within minutes of drying off. He'd go through 3 shirts a day because it would just get soaked in sweat. So he'd change one at noon, change again at 5, and then take the third one off by the time he went to bed. He just made summers in Charlotte sound like the worst thing on earth.
More humid than Texas is insane.
The way he described Charlotte, I would imagine it's not even humid here.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is there. This is a janky set. And
Yeah.
you can tell it's got shit falling off and
the
falling
humidity
over.
fucked it up. It's all good.
Joe, tell me the story behind the condemma.
First
Am I
of
even
all,
saying that right?
I was trying so hard not to laugh when you were saying it. I'm like, kendama.
Kendama.
Yeah, man. It's It's funny because I have more kendama on my Instagram for sure than comedy, which I shouldn't be doing it that way. I'm not trying to make money in kendama. I'm trying to continue making money and make more money in comedy. But it's it's just so fun and so silly, and it's something I was introduced to by good friends in junior high. And it's just a little hand-eye Japanese skill toy type thing. And I got sober at the end of last year, and right when the time linked up, I got a kendama again because I was at Target with a buddy. I was like, oh my God, they still make these? This one's really good, and they sell it at Target. And I got obsessed, and it helped me a lot with not drinking super early sobriety.
Did you bring it?
Dude, I have one in my car. I messed up. I have one in my car though. I should have brought it.
Did you know this was on YouTube?
Yeah.
And you didn't bring it up.
My bad.
Get out of here.
But I mean, I can explain it very easily. It's literally it is a toy. I'm hesitant to admit it, but it's a toy with 3 cups and a spike, and then there's an endless amount of tricks and combinations and stuff. It's very yo-yo adjacent, I would guess.
Maybe you need 2 Instagram pages. That way you can still keep posting your, how do you say it?
Kendama.
You can keep posting your kendama stuff.
Yeah.
And then you could have your comedy on the other page. I don't know. I don't think it's going to make or break you either way.
Yeah.
But It's just a thought I just had.
That's not a bad thought. I think I would get really bitter though if I did create a kendama page, because I've gotten pretty good at it. And if I had like more followers and interaction on my kendama page than my comedy, I think it'd be I think it would fuck me up. I think it would mess with my psyche. Like, fuck, man, is this what I'm meant to do?
I could see that
Yeah.
maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get into your sobriety so quickly, but since you brought it up,
Yeah.
how do you think that the kendama specifically helped you with the not drinking?
I think it sounds silly, but it's true. I like kendama because it's just so basic, and I'll be fucking with it for like 30 minutes, sometimes hours, and I'll be like, oh my god, I haven't had a thought since I picked up this silly little toy. And I think it just kind of helps me not be in my head. It's like a meditative thing for me.
I think that's like me in puzzles.
Yeah?
I have one finished. I don't know if you can see it from where you're sitting.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, but I just finished that one, and it's funny, dude, because I didn't have my next one ordered yet.
Yeah.
I finished this one way faster than I thought I was going to. It was a very easy puzzle, and I did panic just a tiny bit because I was like, I don't have one to work on. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta get in my car and go get one like
Yeah.
right now. It was it's a weird feeling, you know. But I find the same thing with puzzling. I'm not sober, but I find it almost meditative.
Yeah.
And it is very brainless. Sometimes I have like jazz music on in the background. Sometimes I have silence on. Sometimes a podcast. Sometimes a movie. And it's something, dude, where I can't tell you why, but I just feel a lot more happier by the time I'm done puzzling, whether it's 10 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. I mean, anything to not be like in front of a screen. And I think that's the thing with kendama, because it's like it's so easy for me to just get on like a doom scroll on Instagram or just looking at shit I don't even like and just ingesting all that. It can't be good for us. I mean, you hear it on every podcast all over the internet.
No one ever talks about that.
no one ever talks about how our phones are killing us. Social media is killing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now called The Anxious Generation.
Ooh.
Have you heard of it? I'm guessing
No, but I'm interested because I am for sure a part of that generation.
Well, you seem cool, so I'm already down to give you my Audible password if you ever want to log in.
Oh, no shit. I think I still have Audible free trial, and I keep using different emails.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm covered on Audible.
It's a book. I would say it's very interesting, and it's also very scary.
Yeah.
And I won't go too much into what he's talking about, but the main thing that he sort of opened the opening chapter with was talking about how around 2010 we went from a generation of kids that spent most of their free time playing outside to a generation of kids really spend most of their time on a screen. And I think, you know, my biggest qualm with it, dude, is when I'm with people and they're on it. I could care less what you're doing the rest of your day, but when I go out to dinner with a group of people, this happened like 4 or 5 months ago. I was out to dinner with 4 or 5 individuals, and at one point they're all on their phones. I'm just like, guys, we could have stayed home and done this. Like, what are we doing? You know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it for me too. Is I've been really good. I think I'm really good, but I try to surround myself with people who are active, and if we're hanging out, we're gonna do something cool. But yeah, I can't stand like being at a dinner and just seeing someone just online shopping or browsing Instagram. I'm like, what's the point?
Watching some porn.
Yeah, dinner
right
porn.
in the middle of Austin Public Library.
Yeah, public library porn.
Fucking got out the spank bank, baby. Yeah.
I don't mean to kink shame or nothing, but like if public, whatever. Yeah.
Are you part of a program? Like
a
AA
12-step
or anything
program?
like
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. And I think it's what's helped me so much. Because in the past, I've like pretended like I don't have a problem with drinking. Like, I'll stop for ever so long. And then I would never be able to do the amount of time I told myself I'd stop drinking for, whether it be a month, even a week and stuff like that. And I'm just lucky enough to have friends, even other comedians that I know have had issues with alcohol, whether they wanted to admit it or not, that go into some of these rooms and have had a lot of help. Because, I mean, all it comes down to is a bunch of people with the same problem talking to each other about that same problem.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts levity to the situation and understanding. And I just feel like with the program, with being around other people who identify as an alcoholic, way more at peace. It's pretty nice.
Do you know a guy named Nat Rogachevsky?
I sure do.
Yeah? Are you guys buddies?
Yeah, we're absolutely great buddies. I think when I first started, he was one of the first comics I met when I first started comedy, and I think it's before he even moved here from Boston. I met him, and then he came back and like made the official move. But yeah, Nat's the man.
He's awesome.
Yeah?
He was on the podcast before there was even a podcast.
Really?
So it was in pre-production phase, I guess you could call it. No social media. The podcast didn't exist because I was in the process of getting, I think I wanted like 8 episodes recorded before I started posting them. That way I wouldn't have to scramble to find guests.
Yeah.
And dude, it was really hard getting people on because like there was no evidence that exists. So especially
Yeah.
like I wasn't even reaching out to women at that time because I figured unless I can sneak it in there somehow that I'm a gay dude, which I also don't want to push that like right in their
Yeah.
face. I'm like inviting women to come over to my home and like, yeah, I have a podcast but dude, Nat came through, which was awesome. And then I told him that while I was in Austin, I wanted to meet that guy. Do you know Chris by chance or know of him?
He looks familiar. I know that's at East Austin, right? That's
Yeah.
at the old East
Yeah.
Austin Comedy Club. He looks very familiar.
You heard of Modern Wisdom? It's a podcast.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so Chris was doing like a live podcast of sorts at East Austin,
Okay.
and because it's small, tickets sold out. Like,
Yeah.
I think I went to buy tickets like 3 or 4 minutes after they went live, and they were already gone. So I emailed East Austin, just like their generic email. I tried calling them, line didn't go through, so I emailed them. And I'm like, hey, I'd love to go to Chris's show. I'm not trying to get anything for free. Like, you tell me how much I have to pay. I'm good for the money. And then like an hour or two later, Nat texts me, and he's like, hey, I actually managed their
Yeah.
email, and I saw your request. You just come on over. He's like,
That's
"Dude,
cool,
fuck."
dude.
So I'm very grateful for that. He's a
Yeah.
good guy, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's helped me out a lot. Comedy, sobriety. He's cool.
How long you
That's
been
what's
sober for?
In the grand scheme of things, not that long. It's 8 months. 8 months and some change. December 19th, 2023 is the last day I drink, or my sobriety date.
How do you feel?
I feel great. Felt weird at first, but I feel really good, man. I feel good. I feel like I'm able to enjoy the things I'm supposed to enjoy again.
What led you up to wanting to be sober?
Health, anxiety, mainly physical and mental health. I feel like I was drinking to mask anxiety, to mask depression, and yeah, I'd drink and I'd feel good and I'd have a fun time and I'd feel very outgoing. It was almost always after sets, by the way. I was never really, there's a few bad instances where I got drunk on stage, but I think I was trying to ride the high of being on stage, and then I think I was trying to mask my anxiety, my natural just OCD-ness, and it worked until the next day. It was twice as bad, and then I would have to drink twice as hard. And this is stuff I was all doing subconsciously, but having some time now sober, I'm able to look back on it and be like, wow, that was a weird way to operate and try to live. Scary.
What were you anxious about?
That's the thing, man. It's like I think I was just like living too much and like futures that didn't, like, I had these just thoughts like, oh my God, what if I die today? Or what, just crazy stuff like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me when I do this? Is this going to go good? Is that going to go good? Just basically nitpicking every little situation that's in front of me and not just being like, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. Just being too analytical of myself and the world around me.
When you, in the last 8 months, when you get anxious, what's your new do you have like a new methodology for how to go about it? What do you do?
No.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, man, as soon as I started saying the question, I was like, I already know the answer to this one.
I can't wait to say kendama.
Kendama. How do you actually say it?
Kendama.
You can't say it my bad way, because then
But
you're really going to get confused.
That's going to be the new American way to say it. Kendama. No, just little things like I have a river behind my house now. I'll go paddleboard. I have kendama, which is just something that's not on my phone, and something where I like can focus on my breath, whether it be take my dog for a run, exercise, stretch, simple stuff. Skateboard. I skateboard a lot, not so much this summer because of the stupid Texas heat, and I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to the heat. I'm figuring out, but anything active, man. Breath work and activities.
How old are you?
27. I just turned 27.
27 and 8 months sober.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a good setup right there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm glad the time frame worked out when it did.
Yeah. You grew up in Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, before we get into that, I have a picture I want to show you.
Yeah? I'm nervous.
Look at you.
Where'd you get that? Do I have that on my Instagram?
I find things, baby.
That's hilarious.
I'm a good podcaster.
Yeah, that's before I got sober, a couple months before I got...
Yeah, if you're listening
That's when I was hitting the booze real hard.
if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and you want to jump over to YouTube, that picture will be up there.
Oh,
How
yeah,
do you
perfect.
think you were there? Like 4 or 5 maybe?
I think that's my kindergarten yearbook photo.
So how old are you in kindergarten? 5?
I think 5 or 6.
I think I was 7 in first grade, but I also think I was a year older than most of my colleagues.
That's hilarious.
So probably 5 or 6. So outside of the obvious,
Uh-huh.
the things we've already talked about, such as you're sober, and outside of things such as like I'm older, I'm taller, what do you think is the biggest difference between that kid and the man sitting across from me today?
I pay my own bills. That's weird now.
Right.
I think old me would be like, "What? Your parents aren't helping you out with it?" My parents are awesome. They're helping me with some stuff. But you know what's funny? When I was that age, I was still like trying to be class clown, make other people laugh, and I think
You
maybe
still are trying to be class clown
Yeah, I think
for the whole United States.
exactly. I think little me, little drunk me, would see me now and be like, "Oh shit, he's really getting paid to tell jokes sometimes? That's insane." And I probably didn't even realize that was like a career, or not even just a career, just like a way to make a little bit of money. So, I think I don't think little me would be too surprised. I think he'd be like, "You're in a 12-step program? The fuck happened, man?" Be like,
I do wonder. I wonder how old a kid has to be to like sit down and explain to them like, this is what alcohol is, this is what it does, and this is why I'm in a program. Like, would you need to be 12? Because to your point, I just had that thought of like, that would be hard to talk to a kindergartner about. But I wonder,
yeah,
like,
be real. That bum old me out. Like, I don't want to hear that. Bums me out now hearing about it. I'm like, oh.
What bums you out?
Just no, like the fact that it's something I like to talk about. I'm like, I'm always very cognizant. I'm like, I know everybody's not sober, so I don't need to talk about it. I don't know. It doesn't bum me out, but I know young me would be like, what the fuck, man? That's happening?
Let's say you could go back and talk to that
Yeah,
5-year-old
and I had
you
to.
for let's give you 30 minutes with that version of yourself. What do you think you'd tell yourself? And you have to be careful because
Yeah.
there is that butterfly
Yeah.
effect.
I saw the
where,
movie
like,
with Ashton Kutcher. It was very serious.
it's very dark.
It was very dark, but man, he fucked some stuff up. I would be careful. I would tell myself to be more grateful of the situation I'm in and how things may not look perfect right now, but there are people who are dealing with way worse. I tell myself like to enjoy my parents cooking for me, to enjoy my brother wanting to hang out, like just to enjoy shit that maybe I would have took for granted. And like that stuff I still can have in my life. I'm fortunate enough to, but I think just to be more appreciative, more grateful, and not be me, which is hard to tell a kid, but I'd beat my own little ass if I needed to, trying to tell myself.
That's good.
I
like
think
that.
it's good. I don't know.
Yeah. When I came out of the closet in my mid-20s, and sometimes I wish it had been a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing. I don't know if I would tell younger me that or not, like to come out sooner, because to going back to the butterfly effect, I'm really happy with where life's at. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty goddamn happy right now.
Yeah.
So, like, while I think it was quote unquote too late, also, like, is it one of those things where everything just happens at the right time for whatever reason? You want to call it karma, God, coincidence, a higher power, like whatever it is you believe in. Did it just have to happen at that? Like you getting sober in December of 2023.
Yeah.
Like, is that just the right timing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you came out, do you think you came out later on because of like your environment when you were younger? Like, did you grow up in like the South and like a real red state or something like that, or was it just a personal decision?
It was definitely because of my family and my school.
Yeah.
Yeah, being me and my siblings were raised in Northern California in Sacramento,
Okay.
very Christian household, private Christian school, and back then, probably to this day, whether it was like directed at you or just like sort of generically like making fun of people by using like gay slang has always been a thing. So I know I definitely like put up some walls because I didn't want any of my the other students to know that I was gay. And I think because I did that, then it took me a couple years getting out of high school to allow those walls to come down and just be me.
Yeah. And I bet most people in your life, when you put those walls down, they were like, all right, man, cool,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, are you close with your family and all that stuff?
Most of them. Yeah.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
All you need is a couple, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone but one.
Yeah.
There's one black sheep in the family. I feel like every family has one of those.
Yeah,
though,
you need one.
to quote Zazu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you grew up in Houston.
Yeah.
One brother?
Yeah, one younger brother.
How young? Much younger?
He is 25 now. I'm 27, so he's a little bit over a year and a half younger.
What was the two of your guys' relationship like growing up?
Man, we're very close now. He lives in Washington, so like now when I see him, it's that much more special because I don't see him as much as I used to. We were both in Texas for so long, but when we were growing up, we would butt heads, we would fight. But at the end of the day, we were brothers, and we'd have, everything we did together. We had to. I thought I could beat his ass. I thought I would be able to beat his ass and be the bigger brother forever. But now he's like a big dude,
Fuck
like
yeah.
fucking.
What's
now
his
I'm
name?
like Andrew.
Good for Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew. He's like won jujitsu competitions. It's so now I'm like, dude, remember all that stuff I did to you? I was just kidding, man. I was just a silly guy. I didn't mean any of that. But it's funny to have that dynamic. Because, yeah, me and my brother are really close. And we always have been.
I wonder if he got bigger and started fighting so that, like, so he could get back at you.
That would be an ego boost for me.
What?
If
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you felt like you needed to.
You felt threatened,
Well,
did you?
yeah.
Little Andy.
Which, like, to be fair, I probably also got my ass beat when I was even, like, when we were kids. But I told myself at the time, so this is how I choose to remember it, that I was winning all these little fights we had, whether it was, like, who gets to shower first or whatever bullshit you argue about when you're a kid. I think he just enjoys being health conscious, and he's got, like, a very healthy relationship with, like, physical health equals mental health. And it happens that I look this way because I do those things. He's not like, I don't think he has any sort of vanity or like I need to be fucking the most jacked dude at Planet Fitness or wherever he's doing these workouts. I don't know.
I hope he's not working out at Planet.
I would be very surprised.
Is that the judgment-free zone?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. When I first moved to Austin, I had a membership there, and even I don't work out like a lot. Like, I don't have experience with like real weightlifting. Like, I have little routines. I'll use the machines, whatever. Even I was like, man, this place kind of sucks. Like, what do you mean there's no bench press? Like, there's no free bench press and all this stuff. But yeah, I hope he's not working out at Planet Fitness too.
Do you work out at Gold's by chance?
No, dude. I just I have a buddy. I don't have a gym membership right now. I have a buddy who got really into like, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but I think he worked for On It or something like that. So I have like a set of kettlebells and some mace swings and some like resistant bands. And he actually created a program for me. He probably doesn't. His name's Keith Mitchart. He lives in Austin. He's a cool fucking dude. He's like very health conscious. He does these super runs, all this activity. But he set up a little program for me. And I'm like, dude, I don't care about being like super swole, anything like that. I just know physical health equals mental health equals you might look better. And he kind of just set up like a little program with me that I can do with a yoga mat, kettlebells, mace swings. So I just do like a lot of like simple calisthenic shit just to move around. No memberships though.
Well, if you ever do join Golds and you want to get a workout in together, I'd work out with you.
My roommate is constantly trying to get me to go to Gold's. I think it's Gold's that he has a membership at. Another guy like my brother, very fit, very clearly knows how to gain muscle. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just move around. As long as I feel good, I'm good enough.
Yeah. Did you guys grow up religious at all? Or
No,
what
quite
was
the opposite.
Yeah.
Not in the like sense that my mom or whatever was like Satan, 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 but never went to church. None of that. I would go to church with some of my friends, and my mom would like jokingly make fun of it. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna go say hi to God." Not like in a bad way, but she'd be like, "Well, God can be real, but I think he can hear you just as good from home as in the house we made for him and shit like that." And I think I get a lot of my sense of humor from shit like that when I was growing up, but no religion at all.
What was your family like growing up? Like, would you classify you guys as like, quote unquote, pretty normal childhood, or?
Yeah, so in seventh grade, my parents did split up. It felt pretty normal because when you're young, you assume your situation is everyone else's situation, vice versa. I grew up in a part. It was kind of a suburb. It was Katy. It was a suburb of Houston, and we lived in kind of like what everyone else would consider still a great neighborhood, very nice neighborhood. Very grateful that my parents could afford to have a house or whatever, but I had a lot of friends who lived in like these huge houses in this gated community, and it's like a night and day difference, but it's like 2 streets over. So it was interesting seeing that, but man, it was. I mean, I couldn't ask for much more. I was fed. My parents got me clothes. Set me up to know how to be an adult instead of just giving me a bunch of shit, which is something I saw from peers of mine who lived, behind the gates.
Yeah.
These nice neighborhoods.
Did you bring? This is completely off topic.
Yeah.
Did you bring Zens with you by chance?
I did. You need a Zen?
Do you mind?
I don't at all.
Can I bum one?
Dude, you can bum a Zen, absolutely.
Do you happen to know Isaac Kane Brown?
Yeah, I do. I met him. I think he had first moved to Austin. I met him, and it might have been one of the last times I signed up for Kill Tony. I met him in the Kill Tony line, and we were just shooting the shit, and I think he didn't have a place to stay or something, and I told him he could crash on my couch. He never did take me up on it, but...
Oh, it's your second to last one. You sure you don't mind?
Dude, I'm gonna have to get more anyways on the way home. Fucking
I'm gonna have to get
throw
more.
one on top and bottom for all I care. Do both.
So he just gave me my So I've never had him until he was on the show last. What is it today? Wednesday.
Thursday.
Is it?
It's Thursday.
Okay, he's on the show 1 week ago.
I mean, it's Saturday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We'll edit that one out. No, you're good. I don't care. I think everyone at this point knows I record it in the morning, at night, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. But he gave me my first one last week. And dude, I loved the little head rush it gave me.
Yeah.
And then I saw it in your pocket. I've been meaning to buy some. I've never bought them before. So you know how like with any new habit, it's hard to remember, like go to the gas station and get some Zen. So I haven't bought any. And then I saw that your little pocket was popping. I was like, ooh, let's get some drugs going.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Do you like vape or any other sort of
Nothing.
That's hilarious then that you're like, I should find a bad habit to pick up. I'm gonna go and start getting in on the Zins.
I think part of it is just that dude, I'm really tired today. I went rock climbing last night with a buddy, and then afterwards we had a very unexpected but grateful for it conversation that lasted very, very late.
Yeah.
And I still had to get up for work at the same time this morning, so I'm just tired today.
Yeah.
I almost had some more coffee right before you came over because I was like, no, I don't want to do that. It's too late for coffee. So this is now my solution to try to get in the podcast
I'm gonna
mode.
throw the last one in right now. As a matter of fact, I've had this same one in for hours. But
Hours? Are you supposed to swallow?
You can. A lot of times I'll spit it out if I have something near me because it's like it just I don't know, it feels like a good habitual thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll swallow all of this for sure.
You've had it in
or I'll spit it on
hours,
your carpet.
huh?
I can't decide.
Do you want like a little cup or something?
No, not at all, man. It's totally fine to swallow.
Do you need another Diet Coke? Sorry the cans are so little. That's all HEB had when I went shopping. It's like, really, HEB?
7.5 fluid
I don't
ounces.
think here everything is better.
Yeah, this is what kept me sober, is Diet Coke and Zen Spearmint.
That's someone else.
And all the sober bros that really helped me out. But those two things also.
Yeah.
I'll take another Diet Coke.
I got you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, this is a weird effect on my throat, though. I don't know if I like it.
Yeah? Like, what do you mean? Is it burning?
Like it burns a little bit.
Huh.
Maybe I just got a bitch-ass throat.
You might have a bitch-ass throat, dude. You might not be the throat goat you think you are.
I'll put that on my Grindr profile.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a throat goat, I'm not your guy.
I once swallowed 7 Zens. No big deal. Hit me up.
Man, that's a bummer. I really want to like these. I really want this
That's
bad
so
habit
funny
to
to
pick
me
up.
because I wish I didn't like them. I used to like have the vapes, and then with comedy, it was so easy to like have cigarettes, and I want to have as little vices as possible. But in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the cleanest version of nicotine, and I still get that like jolt that I look forward to.
And I think one of my buddies, I was doing my normal complaining about, not complaining, but just like, dude, can't believe like all these teenagers that are smoking at my gym, and he's like, honestly, they're probably just doing it to focus.
Yeah.
They're just their vapes, they're not like lighting up joints in the locker room.
Yeah. Everyone has a vape now.
Except me.
Has a vape. Well, that's good. You have Zens now. Save it for later.
Can you put it back in?
I do. I mean,
you
it's
can
your
do whatever
call.
you want.
Yeah, I definitely. I'll throw it on the top of like a Diet Coke or whatever I'm drinking. It probably looks gross, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna kill you.
I mean, are they not like, whew, that was quite the little head rush.
Oh yeah, you good?
I don't know. You're killing me over here.
You're the one is that Zen?
I can't blame you.
Is that Zen?
Maybe it's hitting my stomach weird too. Maybe I didn't eat enough today.
What? So when you took one from Isaac, was he just like, dude, try this? Or did you same thing? You're like, I've never had one of those. Let me try.
He was popping them, and I think he asked me if I had ever tried one, and I said no.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just it's weird, probably. How, like, have you ever smoked cigarettes or vapes or anything like that?
It's been a decade since I smoked a cigarette, probably.
Oh, good for you. That's awesome. I think it's just like so quick. The nicotine gets into your stream, and maybe your body has to adapt to the horrible thing that you're doing to it, or supposedly only kind of horrible thing you're doing it to it.
My body is not adapting. Well, it's adapting, but it doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah, don't give up.
Yeah. What's high school like?
High school was pretty good. I didn't play like any organized sports or anything. I was a big skater boy. So that was what,
I can tell.
That's what me and all the boys did. I dress. I feel like still like I skateboard in high school. I just like t-shirt, skate shoes, jeans. But yeah, I was very much a skater boy. I'd skateboard everywhere. When I learned how to drive, I thought I would stop skateboarding, but then I was just able to drive to go skateboard at cooler places. That's kind of what my world revolved around.
I'm gonna ask you a really shallow question.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I thought of this just now.
Do it.
Maybe because you said skater boy. But is there any kind of like category of woman you find attractive in the sense, like, I'll say mine so you get what I mean. I would love to date a hockey player.
Yeah.
I think hockey players are so hot.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they look like, but every
Yeah.
time, have you gone to Cedar Park?
Yeah.
Isn't it fun?
It's so fun. My roommate played for the college hockey team at Texas State. Shout out
Fuck
Sam.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can-
Beautiful man, and also beautiful man. So you might be onto something.
Does Sam want to come on the podcast?
Yeah, we'll get him on. We'll hide his girlfriend and we'll get him on and we'll let it happen, dude. Yeah.
Hide his girlfriend.
Well, I don't know.
Tell him I might try to lure him into the
Yeah,
bedroom
yeah,
when the
yeah.
podcast is over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I'll get him in there by showing him my. I just got these leg compression boots.
Uh-huh.
You ever seen those?
Leg? No, I don't even understand.
So you can try them if you want. Basically, it's a boot. You put your whole leg in it, so it covers literally everything. Goes up to your like your hip flexor, I guess you could say. And then there's a little box, and you turn it on, and it pumps air into it. And then it just completely, like, you ever got your blood pressure taken? Imagine a blood pressure cuff on your entire leg. It feels great.
What's the like use case for it?
I don't know.
Just you'll feel good after.
Yeah.
I feel like what you like concentrate the blood in one spot and then it gets to go back and you're probably like.
I'll tell you a story that's a little bit This podcast is all over the place. I'm blaming the Zen, which I took. I'm owning that.
I'm gonna circle back. I want to hear more about you liking hockey. Is it the missing teeth? You like dudes that look busted up a little bit?
Are they known for missing teeth?
I feel like that's the stereotype, is just like a bro with like lettuce, flowy hair, and then like missing teeth from the pucks.
So here's the thing, man. I didn't know I liked hockey players.
Okay.
And a friend of mine asked if he could come out here after I moved to Austin. He's like, I just want an excuse to visit the city. Can I stay at your place for a week? And can we just like act like tourists? I was so new too. Like I hadn't really done anything Austin-y. So we lined up to do something every day. We went to, what's the comedy club in the Domain?
Cap City.
We went to Cap City one night. We walked the boardwalk. We ate out every day. But one night we went to Cedar Park and we went to a hockey game. And dude, I'm one of those guys where I have never liked sports. I just don't. When guys are like raving about football, I literally just logically, I'm like, what are you so excited about? Like, this is insane to me. So we go to a hockey game just to, and we almost didn't go because the tickets were only like $25. We had been so on the move. We both were sort of like, you want to just like sit at home and watch movies? And then I was like, no, we bought these tickets. We're fucking going. Dude, I yelled my ass off that entire game. I was chirping at the refs, walked out with a jersey on my back. I had so much fun. So that's sort of the origin story. I think part of it is there's just a very high level of admiration for everything that they're doing at once, because they're not just skating, which I can barely do. It's the fact that they're skating while keeping their eyes on all the other players and the puck. Like these guys are multitasking at a level that's like I can't even comprehend. And I don't know, dude. I think it'd just be fun to go at it with one of them in the bedroom. Or
they're
just
coordinated.
Or just to be able to say like, oh, here's my boyfriend Kyle, and he's a hockey player. No big deal. I don't know. I just think that'd be fucking cool.
Minor leagues, but he plays.
That's fine.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What about? So do you have? Or go ahead.
What was I gonna ask? Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say live hockey. It's something I went to when I was a kid when the Houston Aeros were still around, and we do that like minor league hockey. I've never been to an NHL game. I want to go, but live hockey is so fun. So I think I understand where you're coming from. It's like there's a lot of admiration in that sport.
I want to throw this out with everyone I have on the show, but I really like you.
Thanks,
I could see us being friends.
Yeah, we'll be buddies.
I don't know if you feel like that.
Yeah, we'll be buddies.
But I do. If you ever wanted to like me get a friend or two, you get a friend or two, and all of us pile in a car and drive out to Dallas. It's in Dallas, right? Where's the major league team in Texas? You wanted to drive out to Dallas, maybe like see a game, and then I don't know while we're out there, go to a comedy show and then spend the night or something.
I've been
drive back
to do
the next
some
day.
sets in Dallas. I've done a few spots there, and I need to hit up some contacts. It's just I always find excuses to stay and do the regular spots I do, but I do want to go to an NHL game.
I think that'd be fun. That's a bucket list
my
item.
old roommate, one of my best friends, his name's Sam. He's gone before, and he's a hockey player. It's so fun to go with him because I don't know everything, and it's cool to have someone to tap on your shoulder like, yo, what? He's the one who's like, yo, there's not 2 halves, there's 3 periods. I'm like, what?
There's 3 halves.
Is it 3? Well, 3. They call them periods.
With you. You're like, this guy's retarded. What is he talking about? 3 halves.
I guess it shows how gullible. I'm like, oh shit. Because I said my thing with so much confidence that as soon as I thought I was wrong, I'm like, fuck. Maybe there are 3 halves. Yeah, dude. I'd be down to organize an NHL game.
Yeah.
I don't know what the season looks like in any way, shape, or form. I just know when I'm told that there's a place to go to see hockey, I'm there.
Depending on how far into, like, if you even call them finals, because that's probably not what it's called.
Playoffs.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Depending on how far they go into playoffs, the season typically starts in October and ends in May.
That's money.
Which is nice because that means that there's only a couple months of the year.
Yeah.
That's why summers suck, man. There's no hockey and it's fucking hot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
No,
point.
summers don't suck. I love summers.
No,
It's
summers
fine.
are nice. I mean, I was shitting on it before, and I don't remember if I was saying this when we started or not, but like I do enjoy some of the summer stuff in Austin. Like it's so nice to be able to go to like Barton Springs or any of the like Greenbelt trails or whatever because there's like really cold water, and I like that contrast of like the shitty heat and then like getting in way too cold of water. That's what Austin's good for in the summer.
I'll tell you something I've never said out loud before.
Yeah.
One of the things I really like about dating during the summer
Yeah.
is suggesting we go to Barton Creek. Because I'm huge on guys with nice chests, so it's a good way to get their shirt off.
I like tits too.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
we have that in common,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
That's
Yeah.
great, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not always like big pecs. Like,
Yeah.
I think, like, you know who Andrew Garfield is?
Yeah.
Like, he's not that big, but
He's
like,
cut, though.
he's cut.
He's
I think
cut.
he's
Good
super
looking bro.
handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my devious way of dating.
Yeah.
Is let's go to Barton Creek.
Yeah.
Hang out there.
More
But,
hot equals less close. It's pretty genius.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I don't know about genius. It's just me being
Yeah,
horny.
yeah. Like, oh, he's gonna get sweaty.
But also, in all seriousness, it is a fun way to go on a date other
Yeah.
than the typical like let's go to a restaurant. I think
Yeah, that's
I
the
like
worst.
I like that there's something about conversations when you're standing like waist high in water or even sitting next to each other on the grass versus facing each other directly where I at least for me, I feel like I am a good dater in that type of environment versus the let's go get crab.
Yeah, because that feels like more of an interview. I feel like,
Yeah.
and that's a weird situation if you're trying to do a date. You're like, what do you do? What is this? And like when you're asking those questions, when you're on a trail or swimming or whatever, you also have a bunch of other cool shit around you to think about, talk about, be about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So we know you like your tits guy. That's good.
Yeah, tits are cool.
And
I have no problem with tits.
and then what? So do you have like my hockey player thing where I'm like, it doesn't even matter which guy it is. Like, just give me a hockey player, I'd be good. Is there like do you find like female comedians really attractive, or female actresses, or female businesswomen where you're like, man, give me a CEO who's a female.
Yeah.
I'm fucking there.
I think my thing, I like girls that have like that scattered tattoo look, maybe bangs, a little. I like a good alt girl. I can respect that.
Alt?
I don't know, just like looks a little alternative. Probably talks about Bernie Sanders sometimes. Just a little left wing Austin hippie.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
You know, we were at what's the coffee shop that's in the same parking lot as Crux Climbing Center?
Is it radio?
No.
Oh, on the east side.
Yeah. It has
don't
it's
know.
like a space name. It's like Star
Cosmic?
Thank you.
Yeah.
We went to Cosmic for dinner last night. They had a couple food trucks there as well.
Yeah.
And dude, there's this one lady there, and I'm not bi. I'm all about men.
Yeah.
There's this lady there who looked, if I had to categorize, like a native Texan, in the sense that she had on like a vest, I guess you could call it, cowboy hat, boots, jeans. She looked Texan, if and dude, she was so pretty. I almost just wanted to, as we were crossing paths, I almost just wanted to make eye contact her and be like, "You're very pretty. Enjoy your dinner." I ended up not saying anything because I didn't want to bug her. But dude, yeah, I think like Cowboys would be another one for me.
Yeah.
But even like, did you watch Yellowstone?
No, I'm very familiar with the series though.
If you see that lady right there,
Oh yeah.
she looked very much like that.
Okay, same age.
Probably ish.
Oh.
You know what I think?
I'm
what
into it.
You know what? One thing that I think made her pretty was she also seemed very confident, and I find
Yeah.
confidence attractive in any human.
Yeah, that's something that people don't think about. I feel like it's a lot of it's very external and materialistic, but somebody who knows what they're doing, what they want to do, and is confident in that, that is very attractive. And that's something I'm like figuring out recently. Like, oh, it actually matters that you care about things and like have drive to do something, even if it's something I don't like, but you do something.
Have you seen your confidence change at all since you've been sober?
Mm-hmm.
In what ways?
I think before I thought I needed a substance to fit in with people around me. I didn't feel as comfortable in my own skin, but now I've proved myself that I'm able to do all these things without drinking, and I figured out that I'm better at them, and knowing that allows me to be like the most myself version of myself, if that makes sense. And I'm confident in that that's worked for me, and I'm going to continue doing that. So I'm just confident, I guess. And yeah, more confident. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to get philosophical, but yes, I do feel more confident being sober.
Has your comedy changed at all, or do you think the nature of the jokes is still sort of? I've never asked a comedian this. Yeah, has like your writing or your the nature of your jokes changed, or is your sense of humor sort of level like still the same?
Way more racist now. No.
Dude, racist jokes are so funny though.
No. Honestly, I feel like I still think the same things are funny, but I feel like when I'm on stage now, at first maybe I was skeptical about it, because to be honest, a lot of my drinking was being done after the shows, and before I even got into comedy, it was, later on in the nights. It did trickle into the day sometimes, but I think my thing now is just stage presence and like, oh, okay, I'm in the moment. I'm not thinking about what I'm drinking after, or what the hang's going to be like, or who I'm going to have to try and impress. I'm like, no, I'm happy to be on stage right now in front of however many people, whether it be 15 people or a couple hundred people. I'm just more present, and I feel like I'm able to present my material more confidently, kind of circling back to that confidence thing, because I know I'm more present in the moment than I ever have been in the past.
What's the biggest crowd that you've performed in front of?
About 500.
How'd that go?
It
Where was that?
This was interesting. It was an anime convention called, I want to say, IkiCon. And I'm not a big anime guy, but I got booked by another comedian to do an anime convention. And they do like a private comedy show for anyone who had like the weekend pass or however the convention worked. And it went amazing. I got booked because of specific jokes I have, and the guy's like, "Yeah, these anime nerds are gonna eat that up," and they did, and it was cool. It was early on enough to where like I had, maybe before that, the largest audience I performed in front of was like maybe 100. So I was like, "Oh shit, I can really do this.
Yeah.
This is so cool to have that many people, for the most part, on board for 10, 15 minutes." A chunk of that time is like, this is awesome.
Did they laugh?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I would pretend it never happened if they didn't. No, it was great. I even made like business cards, because the guy who booked me is like, you're gonna want to have something to hand out because these people are gonna want to follow you. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I printed out business cards, and I probably got like 40 or something Instagram followers just from that. Took pictures. It was really cool, man.
I'm not distracted. I'm looking for something I was hoping maybe I left in here, but I didn't. I'll show you afterwards. I got a metal business card recently.
Yeah.
It's sick. And what you do is there's a QR code on the background. So instead of having to go and order like 500 business cards and then reorder once you're out. I just have one now, and I just tell people to scan it when they ask about the podcast.
That's cool.
And then it just automatically redirects them to the link tree.
Yeah.
And I like that it opens an internet page specifically, because if it redirected them to the, say, like Spotify, and then they just close the app, and then a couple days later they're like, what was that podcast called?
Yeah.
But if it's a tab that they can just leave open in their Safari browser, then it's always there.
Yeah.
So just an idea for you.
And it's a literal physical metal card, but it has the QR on it okay.
You want to see it?
Yeah, why not?
Let me grab it now or I'll forget.
Yeah, I do want to see it, actually. I'm curious. Yo, Thad. What's up, buddy? Some Diet Coke. We're podcasting.
So it comes with a little case, so you don't get it scratched up.
Oh, nice. What's people's reactions when they're like, what the fuck? This is, because it's like, I feel like it's like one of those nice credit cards that you're like, oh shit, this guy's got money.
I think they think that the show's bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Right now it's like Thad's the only listener.
Yeah.
And then when they see that, they're like, oh, this guy.
And he's only kind of listening. This fucker's been chewing like crazy. That's my dog's the same way though.
Yeah, I think it's a stress thing because whenever someone comes over now, he doesn't have 100% of my attention.
Mm-hmm.
He only has like 1% of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a stress thing because he chews the shit out of stuff when people are here. But then as soon as you go, he'll go back to sleep. He'll just go sleep under that blanket or something.
Yeah. My dog's the same way. He wants to be the center of attention. And when I'm talking to other people, he'll like be bringing us toys or whatever, or he'll start chewing, or he'll need to go outside even though we were just outside before whoever got over. So yeah, I get it. Good dog though.
So what do you think? Would this be good for you or a waste of money?
I think that'd be good for any comedian.
Yeah.
I think so, because what a lot of comedians do is the show's over, and if they don't have a spot after, and I'm guilty of doing it, so you want to get a little love from the audience, and then every now and then people are like, hey, how do I follow you? Where do you do shows all the time? And it would be cool to just be like, yeah, scan this, and if they felt like something with a little bit of weight on it, they might be like, oh shit,
Yeah, Joe.
was this guy headlining recently?
Right.
Oh shit.
He's got a metal business
Yeah.
card.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen him on Rogan. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave that to one guy to scan, and he went to pocket it, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
You're just
Okay,
You're
I
just
didn't
scanning it today, bro. You don't
Yeah.
get to keep this.
That would be a bad.
This thing was like $30, which
Yeah.
it's not a ton of money, but
If you were giving everyone a $30 card, I don't think you'd
maybe.
gain a huge following.
I don't think we just collect dust
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. And debt.
Yeah. And
You'd collect that.
Yeah. What were we talking about before? Oh, the 500 person thing, the Comic-Con. Was it any different for you in terms of like nervousness level? Or
Yeah, I was very nervous.
Yeah.
I was very nervous because I was like in a really good spot in the lineup, and I was grateful that the booker was like, you get a basically, it was right before the closing out, and I knew that there was another event happening that would have, it kind of worked out. Like if I did close it out, it wouldn't have been as good because it was like very loud, and the comic that was up had to deal with whatever was going on in the other like conference room. So I was very nervous because I'm like, I have this prime time spot. What if I don't use it correctly? And I'm watching comedians I know and comedians I don't know do very well. So I'm like, fuck, if I don't do well, it's gonna feel like I would prefer everyone else not do well. It would make me less nervous. So I'd be like, well, it doesn't matter. We all didn't do well.
Yeah. Do you think in one of my goals for this show is to one day do a live podcast? And I'm always sort of not always, but usually at the gym or when I'm driving, I'll be daydreaming about like who the guest will be, where it might be at, things like that. And I've always imagined for some reason that doing a live anything in front of, let's go with like 1,000 people, doing a live podcast in a room packed with 1,000 people versus like a live podcast at East Austin, and that's not a slam on East Austin. It's a great comedy club, but like in there it's 40 people that it fits, 50.
I think the newest rendition they can get about 80 people.
I just feel like for some reason I'd be more, not nervous is the right word, but here's what it is. It's not nerves. I almost think that as we're podcasting and one of us says something funny and you hear 1,000 people laughing, that's just going to give energy to the room, right? Whereas if you're a room with 40 people and you say something funny and like 10 of them laugh, that would be a lot different.
Yeah.
So I've always imagined, so that's why I was asking about the show is, do you almost like source energy from the crowd, and therefore the bigger the crowd is, it almost gets like easier in a way? Or is that a thing I'm making up?
No, I don't think you're making that up. I think with comedy a big thing is if you can get half of the people on board pretty quick, the other half is going to follow, and with a bigger number, that's more likely.
Right.
That makes sense. I get more nervous now if I'm doing like a Tuesday or a Wednesday show and there's like 7 people in the crowd. I'm like, fuck, I gotta convince like 7 people that are right in front of me that they're having a good time and that I'm funny. Instead of like, oh, okay, this room full, you know what I mean? There's a room full of people. It's way more likely that there's 7 people in different pockets that are gonna enjoy, whatever my jokes that night are, and in turn other people are, oh, I get it, okay. So I think it's a rule of numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bigger is better. To a level. To a level. I've never performed in front of like thousands and thousands of people. I feel like there is in comedy, the intimacy thing is very important and very unique. That's why comedy clubs exist.
Did you happen to see Theo when he was in town?
Uh-huh.
Where did he perform at? You remember the name of that place?
He did Sunset Strip, of course, Mothership. I'm pretty
What
sure
was the other one?
he did Black Rabbit.
What was the other? What was the when I went to see him, we were in a big fucking stadium. It was huge.
Paramount?
Maybe.
Bass Concert Hall, maybe Moody.
I think it was Moody.
Yeah, Moody's huge. It's yeah.
And so we got cheaper tickets because online they looked good, but then when we showed up, we were like, we couldn't even see him. And so
Yeah.
I was watching the jumbotron because he was so small and I wanted to see his face.
Sure.
And I almost felt like, and again, I'm not trying to slam all the venues in Austin, but from a comedy perspective, like from a concert perspective, it would have been much different. But from a comedy perspective, it almost felt too big.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's a dream for a lot of comedians
Yeah.
who are like, David's talking insanity right now. But for everyone that was like way up there,
Yeah.
I sort of felt like I was just watching a Netflix special with 2,000 other people.
Yeah, and you pretty much were. I think the best environment for comedy is a comedy club. About, I'd say 150 to 250 people is a sweet spot. Like Rogan's Club, the big room, I think, and there's so many people that work there that know better than I, but I think they don't go above 300 people. And they have the best comedians in the world performing there. And they do that for a reason, because like this is a club for the comics. We're going to give them the best, I guess, experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite that you like to perform at personally?
Right now, I mainly just perform at East Austin Comedy Club and Black Rabbit Comedy Club, and I love both of them because it's that sweet spot of an intimate room. There can be up to like 80 people. Typically it's like a 50-seater night, and it's a great room to like rip your jokes that like work and material that's good, but it's also a good place to like really figure out if something's funny because it's an honest room.
Yeah.
You know,
There are about 50 people, you said, both of them, give or take.
most of the times,
Yeah.
yeah, for like just an average show.
How often are you performing right now?
I'd probably say three-ish shows a week. I usually have at least one at East Austin, at least one at Black Rabbit, and then whatever else I get asked to do, independent shows outside of that. I think after this summer I want to travel more. Like I have family in Portland. I want to go do sets in Dallas. I have friends out there. But yeah, I want to up that for sure. I need to.
Yeah. That seems like a good cadence, about 3 a week. You're constantly working that muscle.
Yeah. But there's some comics who are able, I'm not at the point where I'm able to get up on any show, any night I want and just be like, yeah, I'll go do 3 sets. Because I would if I could. And I should probably still be hitting open mics more just to be on stage.
Yeah.
For the sake of being on stage and trying out new stuff or rearranging the way I would say things and just making little tweaks.
Yeah. Is this your full-time gig, or do you have
No,
some side?
I have a day job that I've had since out of college. It's completely remote. So that I'm very grateful for because it allows me to act as though comedy is full-time.
Do you want to do comedy full-time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do.
He's going to quit that job one day.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. As soon as comedy, I can afford healthcare through comedy, I'm out. I'm full comedy.
That's funny that's your...
Yeah, that's my metric.
Your metric.
That's my metric.
Yeah.
I don't need a crazy amount of money. I just need to be able to be semi-comfortable.
Yeah. When did you know you wanted to get into comedy? When did that itch start?
When I was young, it's something I thought about. I always loved, the older comedians. I liked the late night talk show stuff. I loved SNL. I loved all that stuff, but I didn't actually really start thinking about like trying stand up until I was in college, and it's something I would say so much, and I just never actually did. And funny enough, I started in the pandemic. So I'm like, what does it matter? No one,
Yeah.
I got to just do it. And I think when I first started comedy, I would get on stage with a mask. And then when you take off the mask and then put like a mic condom mask on. Oh. And it was just like the craziest thing. So that was like my introduction to what it was like performing. And it's crazy, but it's something I wish I did earlier in college. as soon as the thought popped into my head.
You know what Isaac said to me that was really unexpected? He told me I should try an open mic.
Why is that unexpected?
Just because it's something that no one said to me before.
Yeah. It's probably scary.
It's
too,
well, it's very scary.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this is I'm going to contradict myself because I just said one of my dreams is to do a live podcast one day. But one of the things I do like about it is that it's just you, me, and the dog.
Yeah.
And if you had brought like Isaac brought two of his friends with him, and that was great. And I actually, as I was editing that episode, I liked how there was laughing in the background. It sort of felt like you ever seen the shows in the '90s, or I don't know if they still make them anymore. But did you ever watch Friends? So you know how like there's the audience laughter. Yeah. It sort of felt like that. Like anytime me or Isaac said a joke and they thought it was funny, they'd start laughing too. Yeah. But even then, with 4 people in the room, like it doesn't feel performative. Yeah. And so therefore I've never got nervous getting ready for this. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I'm so confident. It's not that. It's more so of just like there's no one else here. So it's in my home. Where am I going with this? What were we just talking about before I went on this rant?
I think just being nervous for an open mic.
Yes, thank you. So when he said that, when he told me I should try an open mic, yes, I immediately got nervous and was like, fuck no. Yeah. I ain't doing that.
Well, to be fair, I get more nervous thinking about an open mic than I do like a paid audience, because I think of myself going to an open mic, I'm like, it's either comedians that are working harder than me and therefore they're at an open mic trying new material, or it's people that just started that are going to think I'm not that great because I'm doing the same level of performance as them, getting the same amount of laughs, because a lot of the open mics, the situation is a bunch of younger comedians watching another younger comedian try their jokes on stage, and very rarely is it like a real audience that came there for comedy. If there is an audience, it's like at a pub or a coffee house where they already happen to be there. They're like, oh wait, that's happening over there. I mean, I'm not going to move. And then eventually the comedy starts and then they probably do move. So it's hard to get an honest audience in open mics. But some do it correctly. Like there's some good open mics that people just know it's an open mic and then go for that.
Yeah. Isaac did make a good point that if I bombed, he's like, no one is going to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like it won't, no one
It'll feel like the worst thing ever, maybe. But you'll forget about it. And so the first people who will forget about it is whoever is actually in the audience. Because it's either another comedian that's worried about what they're about to say or try to say for the first time, or it's someone who's getting drunk at freaking some bar on Riverside or whatever. So it's like the stakes are so low. Yeah. You shouldn't look at it as like, oh, I'm taking this big risk. I mean, it is, because it's something you've never done, but...
I do. I won't go into the full story unless you want to hear it. I don't care. But ever since he planted that seed, I have been thinking about like if I did an open mic, what would I talk about? And there's this one time that I met a guy off Grindr.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear the whole thing.
You just want to hear the whole thing?
Yeah, dude.
All right. So here we go. You asked for this.
Yeah. I like figure out it's like my brother, so I'm like, what?
It's Sam.
Sorry.
Maybe I'll leave his name out. I don't think it matters. It's a pretty common name. But I'm on Grindr one day, and a guy messages me, and I think it was just normal conversation at first. Hey, how you doing? And then he said, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. And when you're texting someone, like, why not say yes? I just want to see what it is. So I'm never going to say no. So I said, sure, man. What's the favor? And he says, well, my favorite way to get off is to have a guy hit me in the balls until I come. And so I was wondering if I could get just like 10 minutes of your time, and could I come over, and would you mind hitting my balls for me?
Jesus.
And I said, yeah, sure, come on over. So then, So then Greg shows up.
Yeah.
And he comes through the door. Now I'm nervous. I don't even know why. I'm like, I'm not getting my balls hit.
Yeah, of course you're nervous. That's yeah. Okay.
And so I said, could we have some whiskey before we do this? And he's like, well, I don't want to drink tonight, but if you want to, go ahead and pour yourself a glass. So I did. I sit down in my chair. He sits down on the couch. We talk for like 30, 40 minutes, very pleasant guy. And then at one point he was like, all right, you want to do this? And in my head, I was like, no. But out of my mouth, I said, yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets up and goes to my room. And before I sort of sat for another second. And then I get up and I go in there and he's already naked and I'm laying down on my bed. I'm like, oh, damn, that was quick.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking hit your nuts.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, go for it. And so the first one, put your arm out.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty soft. It was probably just like a,
Okay.
you know,
Put on your nuts. That's not fun.
right.
Unless you're Greg.
Unless you're Greg.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't fun for Greg either. So
Okay.
then he looks at me and he made a comment, and this is where I wish I could turn on like a very like more flamboyant accent. I need to work on that. But he said something like, he was like, David, if that's how you're gonna hit me, we're gonna be here all night. And I was just like, oh, okay, faggot, let's go. So I grab his ankles and I pull him down. So his
Yeah.
ball,
He challenged
I
you.
wanted to be standing up. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I can't be doing this like on my knees. So I pull him down to the edge of the bed so that his balls are at the edge of the mattress.
Oh my God.
And I put one hand on his knee and I said, you're sure you want this? And he said, yeah. So I just start hitting this guy as hard as I can. And in the first like 5 to 8 punches, his dick filled up like a balloon on a helium tank.
That's insane.
It just like went from nothing to just like, there's Greg.
Yeah.
And so then after like 8 to 10 punches, I thought it'd be sort of funny to hit both of his nuts at the same time.
Yeah.
So I took both my fists and I started doing this, like, and I'm going as hard as I can. And he's just like groaning and moaning, but pleasurably, like he's enjoying it.
God.
And so then I'm probably like 20 to 25 punches in, and Greg takes his hand and he stroked himself maybe twice and then just nutted all over himself.
And did this do it for you at all, or were you like, I can't believe I'm helping this guy get off this way? Like, did you feel weird about it or what?
I was very neutral.
Okay,
So
well, that's healthy,
If
I'd
you were
say.
to be like, do you ever want to do it again? Or did that like open up a side of me where I'm like, man, I just love busting guys in the nuts.
Yeah,
No,
literally busting
not at
balls.
all. And if I never hit a guy in the nuts again, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if I fell in love, when I fall in love with a hockey player, let's say one of his things, like that was one of his things, I'd gladly do it for him if that's
Yeah.
what he wanted or needed to be aroused. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
You just asked me to punch you in the nuts.
yeah,
Maybe I'd get creative and like try a hammer one week or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that. That
Up
could
to the
like.
nuts.
Anyway, so I think that's the. If I ever tried an open mic, I would probably need to make some tweaks to it. But I think I would just tell that story.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to go about your first open mic, because it's something that really happened, and you can tell the story easily, and you can find out where are the funny chunks
Yeah.
in that story. And yeah, I think that would be hilarious. I think the audience would be very interested, because that is a very unique story. And it's like funny to think that there are people out there, like there is a whole group of people who just like getting fucking beat up, and that turns them on. It's like, that's funny to think about. That's just a weird concept
It is.
for most people.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another. I never met this guy, but there's a guy once who sent me a video of him hitting himself in the nuts with a broom.
On Grindr, he's
Yeah.
like, hey, you into this shit?
Yeah.
And then boom, nuts.
It was on Plenty of Fish, actually.
Okay.
No, it was on.
I don't know.
it was on. I was on Grindr. Yeah.
Damn.
I think it's a pretty small population of dudes.
Yeah.
Because I've been on Grindr for a very long time
Sure.
now, and those are the only two guys, to my recollection, that have ever made some sort of request, or even in your bio on Grindr specifically, if you want to, you can put what you're into. And I don't even know what the word for that would be, but like, what is the word for that?
Is it bondage? Not really.
No,
It's more extreme than that.
I'm glad neither of us know this word.
Dominatrix stuff.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't want to get my phone
I'll
out.
think about it when I'm going to bed at night. Like, that's right.
As you're playing with your condemer.
Yeah, my condomer.
What's it called?
Kendama. You'll find a guy one day who wants to get a kendama to the nuts, and be like, I'm glad Joe introduced me to this Japanese skill toy.
Oh, if
So
that
good for busting balls.
if that ever happens, I am going to text you.
You should.
You will receive a text from
Yeah,
me.
I would
You'll be
love
like,
to hear
"Joe,
about it.
There's someone coming over right now, and he
Yeah.
wants me to use my kendama on his balls."
There we go.
All right, now, do you have any fun, any fun dating stories from the past? any weird ones, any funny ones, any dates gone wrong, any really bad ones?
I feel like, and I just started like seeing people again now because I'm sober, and they say the whole thing like wait 3 months, wait 6 months, wait a whole year, figure yourself out before you. So I've been on a handful of dates recently, and it's either just been like, I wasn't vibing with the chick, or it was fine, and I kept talking to him. I don't have any like, she left me or anything like that. I wish I had a good story. I don't. I really.
Maybe that's a good thing. I'm glad that you're just out there.
It's very neutral.
Being normal,
like,
just going on dates. Maybe they go well, maybe they don't. Cool.
I did have one of the last girls I went on a date with. She was like trying to show me this list of all the guys she fucked in college, and then like trying to badmouth each guy, and I'm like, what part of you thinks that someone like me will enjoy hearing that? Like, hey, this is all these things that I did that were gross and wrong. Boom. Like but even that, I was able to brush it off and be like, all right, well, I just won't see this girl again. Easy.
Yeah.
It didn't turn into like a really awkward or like I got to get out of here situation. Yeah. No ball busting. Nobody's asking me to stomp on their pussy. Nothing. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
I guess that's a pretty wild story to tell him and be like, now what's yours?
I know, that's the thing, because I hear yours, I'm like, dude, I have nothing. Like, one time I did sex in my car. That sucks. Compared to ball busting, that's crazy.
Have you ever been is catfish the term when you show up and you expect, blonde hair, white guy, 150, and then they show up and they're like, they look nothing like their pictures? Not a little bit, because I think all of us, when we meet someone in person, especially from an app, you're always going to look a little different in real life. Mm-hmm. But has there ever been a situation where you showed up and it was the same person, but you were like, whoa, like those pictures were definitely 7 years ago, or, something like that?
Yeah, definitely. But it's never been like, oh my God, is this even the same person? I've never been like truly catfished.
Have you ever shown up and she looked prettier than she looked in her pictures? Those ones are great, aren't they? It's like, so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like dating?
It's okay. Obviously I want to find a partner. I think I am at that age where I'm not just like, let me meet some chicks after comedy shows and whatever happens. I enjoy it because it gives me an excuse to go do something I usually wouldn't. Like, go to Zilker, mini golf, bowling, shit like that. And it is kind of fun to learn about someone and figure out, the kind of person you mesh with. I'm okay with it. I thought it's something I was going to hate so much without alcohol, because that used to be my old move. Is like, oh, dating's just an excuse to go grab a drink at my favorite bar, or to go whatever, show this girl that I know the bartender, or what. And now it's just an excuse to go do something unique.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why do you want a partner?
Because I'm a lonely man. No. I understand it. I understand the value in having someone you can lean on and someone that can lean on you, and just kind of having like that romantic teamwork experience. I guess, if that makes sense. Are you dating, looking for a partner? Or are you just like, I want to bust some balls out there?
No. I wasn't in July, just because I was working through I had sort of a dark spot there for a couple weeks, and I sort of pulled back and just knew like I'm very far from the best version of myself right now. Mm-hmm. And as I am moving, I think when I referenced the conversation I had with my friend last night too, that helped bring a lot of clarity. Not like any problem is fixed overnight, but I do think I'm getting to the point where, like, let's say hypothetically you had a show. When's your next show?
Probably tomorrow.
All right, so let's say like I went out tomorrow to support you, and I met a guy there and he asked me out. I would say yes, but I have not proactively been dating for about a month. As far as like one night stands, my last one, if you don't count Greg, because I didn't have sex, so I don't really count that as as like a hookup.
Yeah, he counts it.
He does.
He for sure counts it.
We can say it was half a hookup.
Yeah.
But the last one night stand I had, well, two ago's the second to last one was probably like 5 years ago now, and I remember he showed up, and usually I like to build some rapport first.
Sure.
And he just took my hand, and we went straight to the bedroom, and we fucked, and then he left.
Yeah.
And I remember after, and if that's your move, I'm not judging you. I'm talking about me and my life.
Sure.
I remember for me, and I say you, the audience, as well as you as well.
Yeah.
For me, I remember feeling like I had never felt so lonely after he left.
Yep.
I didn't have roommates at the time. And I think actually maybe now that I'm talking about this, it may have been during the pandemic, and I think all of us felt a little lonelier during the fucking pandemic. But 100%. I remember when he left, I thought, I'm never going to do this again because I really don't like how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Fast forward like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and I was really horny and really lonely one night, and I thought I could solve that loneliness with a hookup. So it was like 10:30 at night, and I think I even put in my profile like, down to fuck, but like also looking for someone to stay the night. So this one guy messaged me because I wanted someone to spend the night with and stay in my bed. And so he long story short, he lied to me. He's like, we exchanged a few messages, and then he's like, yeah, I'd be down to stay the night. And he came over and we talked a little bit, but then we went in the bedroom, we did our thing, and he's like, all right, toodles. And I felt even lonelier than the time before that, the one in 2020. So, this is a long way of me saying that in case some gay hockey player in Austin is listening and you want to slide in my DMs on Instagram or something, go ahead. I am dating, but that's all I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, the hookups, man. I had a lot of fun in my 20s, figuring out what I liked in the bedroom, what I didn't like, especially as like a gay dude who had never had sex even with a woman.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I need, and there's like the adrenaline rush of like, oh man, he's on his way over. You know, like it was really exciting. But it almost felt like if you rode the same roller coaster like 100 times in a row, even if it was super fun the first time, by the 100th time, you were probably like, get me the fuck off this thing.
Yeah, you know the ride.
Yeah.
I feel that. I'm in the same boat. I forgot what the original question was. I know I asked you.
I think you asked me if I was dating or open to hookups or whatnot.
Yeah, because you asked if I enjoy dating. Because like, college when I was younger, that's what I thought was so cool. I was like, dude, one night stand, the boys are gonna love this. You know, I'm like, this is so cool. But yeah, I feel lonely after, and it's like a drug. You know, you get a rush of dopamine, and then the dopamine's gone when she's gone, or when the sex is over, whatever. And it's like, fuck, I want something more than that. Yeah. That's something I should have told 5-year-old me.
Like, what would you have said?
I'm like, dude, you don't need one night stands, and a little 5-year-old me would be like, what are you talking about?
I will say there is this one guy in my old hometown of Sacramento, that in terms of looks, I thought he was an 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I messaged him, and we got to talking a little bit, and he wanted to hook up, and I said no, because I try to get the guys that I find attractive on dates.
Sure.
You know? And so, I didn't say no, but I was like, could we meet somewhere for a drink first? And he's like, I got drinks at my place. It's like, damn it. And I didn't feel like it was unsafe. I really didn't want to just fuck him. I really was like, this guy's hot. I want, like, if I meet him, I want it to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Dude, I almost went over to his house, and I have no shame in saying, like, I have regrets in life. Sure. I'm sort of bummed I didn't go just to see where it went. Like, worst case scenario, I would have had hooked up with the guy that I consider an 11. And how often do we get to say that, you know?
Yeah.
And best case scenario, maybe it would have led to something.
Yeah.
But I felt like I said no very politely. But then the next morning when I woke up, I went to message him just to say good morning and see if I could turn into something else.
Yeah.
And he had blocked me.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, his ego was probably bruised. He's like, what do you mean you don't want to come over and just fuck me? I'm giving you the golden ticket, and you were like over here trying to play the long game and, you know, be a decent human, be a decent datee, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah.
The one that got away,
the
I
one
think
that
is
got
what
away.
they call that.
Yeah. Greg too.
Is that happened to you?
No, I'm saying this guy's Greg 2.0. He could have been.
He could have been.
You would have gone over there and you'd have been like, fucking stomp me up.
Dude, that would have been wild if I got over there.
Again,
like you said earlier, I'm not trying to shame anyone. It's just, it's such a unique, because it's your balls. Like,
Yeah,
if mine get even like bumped, I'm like crippled the rest
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah,
You know?
most people are.
And he
Yeah.
did tell me that he had been building up to a tolerance for about a decade. He's been doing this for 10 years.
Damn. How do you figure out that that's your thing? I think I've listened to a podcast where they're like, how the fuck do you figure out that, like, you just need to get your balls fucking stepped on to come?
I bet maybe, did you and your brother ever hit each other in the balls?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my brother did too. Well, I wonder if probably most brothers, or even like my friends, we would all like tap each other just for fun.
Yeah,
you know,
nut check.
I bet you that he probably got nut checked by one of his buddies one time,
Yeah.
and that's how he found out he was gay.
Damn.
He probably got nut checked by John, and he was like, John, ooh,
Yeah.
do it again.
Yeah. What? John, I never looked at you this way.
And then John's just like, I won't be nut tapping
Yeah.
you anymore, brother. I'll still be your friend, but I'm not tapping you and not checking you anymore.
This is all happening in like a junior high locker room.
He's getting hard as
Yeah,
a rock.
yeah. I'm learning so much
I don't
about
know how
myself.
else you would find out.
Yeah, I don't know. Gotta try it all again. I don't know.
Gotta try. I would. Well, he did ask me. He was like, "You want to try?" And I was like, "No." He's like,
I didn't even think of that.
He's like, "No, come on, lay down." And it's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm good. I will. If you need me to do this again for you, you
Yeah.
got my." I actually did give him my number. He never hit me back up, and I'm
Yeah.
again very neutral.
Yeah.
I wasn't hoping he would. I'm not upset that he
Sure,
hasn't.
sure.
Maybe I did it wrong. You know, maybe I didn't hit hard enough.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, wow.
Or maybe he partnered up. He doesn't need me now.
Yeah.
Could be that too.
He found a permanent ball buster.
I hope so. I hope.
Yeah. I wish the
want
best
Greg to find
for
love.
original Greg. I do.
The OG.
The OG Greg.
Original Greg.
I forgot the first question. I just can't stop
Do
thinking
you like
about Greg.
dating?
Yeah.
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 Oh, and then I
Could be
started
worse.
asking you about why you like dating, why you want a partner. You got a little introspective, and then somehow Greg sneaked his way back into the
Fucking
conversation.
Greg. With his bulletproof balls. This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Good times.
Good times. I would hope. Yeah.
Wait, how do you remember when you had your first drink?
I mean, definitely in like junior high, my dad had beer in the fridge and we'd like steal it. But I think the first time I like remember getting drunk was in high school. We knew our parents were gonna drop us off at like some party where the kids' parents were out of town or whatever, and I just remember it was probably like Taka or some shitty vodka that was in a water bottle and just getting fucked up and being like, this is I can't believe we're doing this.
There is, my first time getting drunk was after a church chili cook-off.
Wow.
With all the other young people. We were 21. I was a good Christian boy who waited till his 21st birthday.
No shit.
Yeah, I didn't have a single drop of alcohol. And then my gay ass went and ordered a pina colada on my 21st birthday.
The one with coconut, please.
The smoothie.
Yeah.
But that was my first time drinking. That was in July. Fast forward to October, and it was our church's annual chili cook-off.
Okay.
So all of us went, and then afterwards, me and like 10 or 12 other people who were between like 21 and 25-ish went to like a little after party. And I remember having 2 shots of Grey Goose vodka and thinking it was the nastiest thing on earth.
Of course.
And my experience first time drinking, I didn't understand it because everyone had been like, I think it's probably my parents' fault in a way because they made alcohol seem like it was this terrible thing, right?
Sure.
And like if you drink before 21, you will go to hell.
Yeah.
And so then I had these 2 shots of Grey Goose. I was like, I'm just not gonna forget
Yeah.
the Bible. Like this just tastes like shit.
Yeah.
But then fast forward like 2 or 3 hours, and I didn't drink anymore that night. Because I didn't like the taste of it, and I think that's all we had. And I remember I went outside, and I was talking with a couple other people out back, and I go back inside at one point, and I go to use the bathroom. It's so disgusting. And I felt a drop of something on my head, and I look up, and someone had puked on the ceiling.
Damn, you got trickle down vodka. Oh. It's disgusting.
And then I went home. I was like, if this is what alcohol does,
You're like,
I'm
this
good.
this must be what it's like every night. I can't do this.
Yeah.
That's a good intro though. Did you feel like very guilty when you took those first shots?
I
You're like,
think
"Oh my-"
so.
I bet you did. I was
Yeah.
Like, is this worth going to hell for?
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's wild.
How did and so were you and it's wild to hear like you drank in high school. I'm like, high school, that's wild. Granted, you didn't have religion in your home though, so you didn't have
I
these
didn't,
rules
and
in
my parents were
place.
split up, so it was easy to get away with things, and there was just a lot of variables at play. And I had friends whose parents were very open about drinking, and it was just a norm. It just seemed so normal to me, and I thought it was normal to drink. Maybe not excessively, but it's like, yeah, anyone drinks. If you can drink, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So between like 17 or however old you were
Yeah,
between that first time you stole your dad's beers to December 19th,
yeah.
what sort of happened in that time period?
I think it wasn't like drinking wasn't just for fun anymore. It felt like an escape. I was, and I was telling myself like, oh no, I just want to be the fun guy, have fun. When really I knew like I know I'll feel different like than whatever my normal baseline is, and I'm gonna say whatever I have to, like, oh, I'll go do 10 open mics tonight because I know I'll get free drinks at each place, or just I knew I was making excuses to drink even though I knew I like kind of didn't want to. It stopped being fun. It just stopped being fun.
When you first got sober, were you in like a meeting on December 19th, or did you
Mm-mm.
sort of do your own thing for a certain amount of time?
I did my own thing for probably about 2 weeks, and I just had like multiple moments where I was like, I gotta stop fucking putting myself in this weird cycle. I remember, um, dude, this was probably literally December like 17th or 18th of last year. I was doing a show at Sunset Strip, and I was just having such bad anxiety that whole day, and then it finally got to be the point where I needed to go perform. I'm driving to the show and I'm like having heart palpitations and all this shit, and I'm deciding whether I'm gonna go to the hospital or to perform. Hospital, perform. And I finally convinced myself, I'm like, if I was gonna have a heart attack or a stroke or pass out, it would have happened already. I went performing. Actually, I had a kind of good set.
Yeah.
But I just remember like being backstage and feeling that, and be like, I can't, I can't keep doing that. Like that was so scary, and I'm still fucking freaking out. I can't believe I got on stage, um, and I. That's when I was willing to talk to friends I knew who were either in a program or who had like needed to get sober or went to a rehab, and they kind of showed me like, hey, there's this option, this
Yeah.
thing, and it's worked for me thus far. So.
When you look back on that night, obviously you're not a doctor, but what do you think it was? You think it was almost like a anxiety attack, or you think you like what do you think was going on in your body that night?
I think it was mostly, obviously, I had drank heavily the night before, and I had like thrown away whatever responsibilities I was probably supposed to do that day.
Hmm.
So already the stress, anxiety of like not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or even like what I should be doing, was in my mind. So I have that anxiety, and then knowing that a version of this has happened many, many, many times since college, since starting comedy, and just thinking like this isn't going to be the last time because I know I'm going to do it again. I know, and just like that accumulation of thoughts and knowing I'm in this weird cycle that I'm doing to myself, I think it just fucked with my head. And then of course the physical repercussions of drinking heavily and being hungover, and probably legitimately withdrawing from alcohol, all just my system was up, 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 and my mind was fucking me up. And yeah, I think it's just a combination of the physical and the mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the first couple days or weeks or months
Yeah.
of being sober, did you notice any kind of withdrawal like symptoms?
Yeah,
What
for sure.
what those look? And part of the reason I'm asking is because one of my hopes for the show, while having fun conversations
Yeah.
about people like Greg, I also have I also had this sort of delusional dream that there's someone listening who maybe is at that same point you were,
Sure.
and that by hearing
I don't
about
think that's delusional.
I don't think so either.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I'm hoping that there might be someone who's where you're at, where they've noticed that their drinking has started,
Hmm.
taking priority over their responsibilities. They're having those sort of panic attacks like you are, and so part of my line of questioning is to provide some answers or not answers, but to show that you're, to show your journey and where you at, and maybe your story will get them to their first meeting, or maybe
Yeah.
not even a meeting. Maybe they'll call someone that they
Yeah.
trust, and they'll just have a conversation and just
Yeah.
finally say out loud for the first time, I don't think my relationship with alcohol is good, and I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So that's sort of why I'm asking, is so that they can have an expectation as to, okay, if I do stop drinking, what could those first couple days or weeks look
Yeah.
like? So for you, did you see any type of withdrawal like symptoms, or
Yeah.
I've heard like you can have trouble sleeping the first couple weeks, or what was sort of your experience like?
I was just very restless and very anxious, and I just didn't feel like myself, and I actually missed a flight because of it. I had a panic attack at the airport and convinced myself I was having a heart attack. This was Christmas Eve.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, I couldn't go see my stepmom's family because of it. But I was just in this constant state of anxiety. And the biggest issue, and it brings up what you were talking about, is I was keeping it all to myself. I was like, I'm going to fucking handle this myself. And then I'm just going to put my head down and pretend like nothing's wrong and just not drink. And at this time, I wasn't like, I quit drinking. I'm like, I need to fucking chill for 2 weeks, for a month, whatever, for at least a couple days in a row. Um, but yeah, the big shift was like actually telling someone like, hey, I'm dealing with this problem. Because if I had right away, I probably would have like gone to a detox. I probably
Excuse
would
me.
have gone to a rehab, and I would have been treated more properly or more accurately for what I was trying to do, rather than just like trying to cold turkey myself and feeling anxious, feeling sweaty, feeling like I'm crawling out of my own skin. So I'm already an anxious person. You put alcohol withdrawal on top of that at any level. I don't, there's very serious levels of alcohol withdrawal. I'm sure. I know. Um, but yeah, just being alone with that thought and that knowingness that what I was doing, the way I was doing it was bad, and I'm trying to do something about it, but I'm not going to tell anyone. So just not asking for help was like, the fuck. I think things would have been great if I told other people about it sooner.
So you didn't tell anyone. You didn't go to a meeting. You didn't tell
Mm-mm.
whoever your closest friend was at the time. You were just
Yeah,
independently just trying to stay away from the booze for,
yeah.
like you said, whatever the length of time ended up
Yeah, I
being.
remember I was supposed to get on a plane with my dad. Usually, airport beers. My dad's drinking at the bar. He's like, "What? Are you not having a tall boy or whatever?" I'm like, "No, I'm okay. I'll have a diet coke." And I probably drank way too much soda. And I was just so anxious. I'm like, is my dad gonna think I'm a loser because I'm not drinking with him? And all this stuff. And I was just too in my own head, instead of just being like, I have this issue. I've been dealing with it. What can I do? What's anyone's advice? Whether it's someone who's sober or not, just telling someone would have gone a million miles. It really would have.
Who was the first person you told?
My my friend from college, who decided to get sober because he had obviously bad relationship with alcohol, and he posted not long. I remember he posted not long before this his 6 month sobriety chip, and I hit him up. I'm like, "Hey, bro, sorry if this is too personal, and this is shortly after missing that flight because of the panic attack. Hey, bro, I'm sorry if this is too personal. I saw you got 6 months, and I think it's something I congratulated him on, just because I'm like, oh, whatever, 6 months at the
Right,
time.
right.
But now I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy that he did this. How'd you do it? You mind if I ever talk to you about it? And he's like, no, bro, not at all. Blah blah blah. I go to this meeting. Are you in town? I'm like, no. He's like, dude, when you're back in town, let's do it. And then my new roommate is someone who got sober a few years back, and who I would always drink around and be around. And he was very cool, and it's someone I admired. I'm like, wow, this guy still lives a fun lifestyle. He still DJs, produces music, is in the entertainment industry, and stays sober. And it just so happened that I knew a few short weeks after I got back from missing that flight, because I stayed in Houston for a little bit and kind of dealt with the withdrawals with my dad and my stepmom. I was going to be living with him, so those two guys got me into the rooms, and just being able to talk, whether the rooms were there or not, just being able to talk to them and them being like, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's happened to me too. That's happened to a lot of people. yeah, I know how you feel. Maybe you should have done this, this, and this, but this is where you are now, and this is what you can do. And I'm like, well, shit. And then I started doing it. I started doing things that I don't like to listen to other people. For the most part, I like to think that my way is the correct way, or that I can handle everything myself.
Joe knows.
Yeah, yeah. Joe doesn't know. Joe knows so little. I know so little, and I think, yeah, man. But just ask for help. If you need help, ask for help with anything, with homework, with whatever, with alcoholism too. Yeah, that changed everything.
What was your first meeting like?
I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be like these people. And I kind of thought the meetings were going to just be like people talking about how bad alcohol is and like what you're doing to your liver and why it's, a horrible substance. But pretty quickly I was relieved. I said, my name's Joe, I'm an alcoholic. And, everyone said my name. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I heard a bunch of people share about things they're dealing with that I'm like, oh wow, we can talk openly about this. And it was very relieving. I try to go a few times a week because it's just like mental upkeep. And it's done a lot for me in comedy, in my day job, kendama even. I'm like, dude, I focus more. And I'm like more at peace and able to like step out of my own head in a more healthy way.
You seem like you're very at peace.
Try to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to be.
I wonder how I'm glad this happened now.
Yeah.
But the show has been going since April of 2023. Mm-hmm. I wonder how this would have gone if this was pre-Joe.
I mean, it probably would have been pretty similar. The only difference is I'd probably just, I remember doing a podcast very hungover, and I was like having a panic attack just trying to like answer questions about comedy and all this stuff. And I think the episode was fine. It's just now I'm like,
is that the one you sent me?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think there was just audio for that one because the guy fucked up the cameras or something. Not gonna name names or nothing.
No, of course.
But
you just made me panic to make sure I turned mine on. I was like, please don't let this be the first episode.
How ironic would it be? Because it was literally just like a picture of me like on stage with the audio, and it was cool. I'm very grateful that someone else asked me to be on the podcast, and it was a similar situation. I'm more inclined to do a podcast because most podcasts I'm familiar with is just other comedians asking other comedians, hoping that there's a pop because of it. Like if this seems like you're like, yo, I like the way you do things. How do you do things? And that feels like that's what the podcast is. And that's very cool. Instead of like, you got any new jokes? I'm like, not really. I don't know. But also I'm ignorant because I don't do enough podcasts. And that's something I do need to change. So yeah. I think it would have been similar, but I probably would have looked anxious. Or just like not at ease, but like trying to, I don't know, man.
Well, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
I think I like Sober Joe. He's a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, and it took me a bit to figure out, but I like Sober Joe too. I thought Drunk Joe is the Joe that everyone wants to see and what it takes to be around everyone and to be cool and to come up with funny stuff and to live a cool life. But that's not the case at all. Like, not even a little bit.
There was something... do you listen to many audiobooks?
I'd say I listen to one every 2 months.
Did you listen to The Alter Ego by chance?
No.
So, The Alter Ego is a book about, the concept that they open with is that oh man, I wish I could remember how they worded this question. Who is the alter ego? Clark Kent or Superman?
It would be, I want to say Clark Kent, but I feel like the book probably flips that on its head and was like, no, Superman is yeah, I would say Clark Kent's the alter ego.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because we always assume, I'm going to make some generalizations here. Most people, when you turn on a superhero show, let's go with Superman specifically in this instance, that Superman is the alter ego and Clark Kent is like Clark. Clark's the real dude. Clark's like but he's not. Superman was Superman first.
Yeah.
But then when he landed on Earth, he had to create Clark Kent to hide who he really is.
Yeah.
But Kal-El or Superman or whatever the fuck his name is Kal-El that's truly who he is.
Yeah.
Clark Kent is just a facade
Yeah.
to protect something.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have an alter ego?
I feel like I probably at now no.
What about when you're on stage? Do you think there's a different Joe on stage than a Joe who's just, showing up on podcasts, hanging out with friends? Is there any kind of alter ego that shows up as soon as you get in front of a mic?
Probably in the sense that no matter how I'm feeling that day or what I went through or what I might be stressed about, I'm like, I need to perform or look as though I'm happy to be here, and that, which I usually am, David. I usually am very happy. I'm gonna stop getting booked. It turns out he's not liking these shows, but I want people to enjoy themselves, so I'll put on I'm more pumped about this than I actually am, sort of perspective. But I think in real life now I'm more comfortable just being like, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm doing. You like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Before I was like, I need to get to a state where I trick everyone into liking me. And that's, I guess, an alter ego I was trying to facilitate.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you a list of words.
Okay.
And I would love it if you would tell me which one is your biggest driver and why.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Family, community, nation, religion, race, gender, identifiable group, idea, cause.
Identifiable group.
Is it comedians?
Just anything that I'm interested in, being around or something I'm dealing with, being around people that are dealing with the same thing or trying to achieve and do the same thing. That is in a way, I know one of the words was family. That is in a way family, and I feel like I'm the best version of myself when I'm around people that are trying to be the best versions of themselves, whether that be in comedy, whether that be as simple as me and a couple bros going and playing kendama because we're good at it and we want to get better at it. Maybe nothing will come of us getting better at it, but we enjoy it, whether that be other people in recovery, because if I do better, someone else probably does better, and if I see someone else do better, I'm able to do the same for myself.
Can I ask you a series of 5 questions? I
Yeah.
want you to just answer with whatever comes to mind first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
So you're going to ask me the 5 questions and then I answer after, or is it one question?
We'll do
answer?
question, answer, question,
Okay.
answer.
Regular style. Okay, gotcha.
What do you want to start?
Start. Taking action. If there's something I want to do, instead of thinking about it, I should do it. So I'm good at being lazy.
Is there something you should be taking action on right now? In general right now, not leave the podcast right now.
Dude, I gotta go let my dog out, actually. No. Yeah, I should probably action getting more shows booked for this next month. I should probably action stuff I need to do for my J job, and just it's not even anything specific, but just doing the work. We were talking about Audible. I've listened to so many books, whether it's about creativity or self-help or whatever, and just doing the work. Start doing the work. I am doing some work, but I want to keep doing it and start doing new work that'll help me with the old work.
What do you want to stop?
Worrying about what others think of me to a level, because it's important in comedy. But I want to just stop worrying about how my image is presented to the world or those I'm around.
Do you think about that a lot?
Less now, but it's something I'm trying to, you know, diminish.
What do you want to continue?
Comedy,
What do you want to do less of?
sobriety.
Oh, yeah.
No, I want to keep doing sobriety, not less of sobriety. Continue.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Like, you got anything in the cabinet up there? Yeah, continue comedy, continue sobriety, continue being an Austinite, technically. What do I want to stop is the next
What do you want to do less of? So you're not, this one, you're not stopping. We're just we're gonna dial it back a little bit.
Just non-productive things like video games, doom scrolling, just being on my phone.
All right, last one. And you could have a pass on this one because you technically sort of answered it on the start. What do you want to do more of?
I want to be on stage as much as possible in front of good audiences, preferably. But I just want to make more people laugh, do more comedy, and do more to just help others. Feels good to help someone else. That's something I've learned this past year.
You've helped me today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
You showed up.
That's true.
You gave me a great, it's been just such a fun conversation.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And we got Diet Cokes.
Yeah. I'm going to get you another one in a second.
Oh, yeah?
I have something I want to read you, and I think you're going to have and appreciate it.
All right.
What did I just say?
You're going to have it in a video, huh? What is I'm never will.
I think you'll have an appreciation for it.
There we go.
These are the words that my mouth meant to say.
Okay.
This is from some essay that a guy wrote, and I wish I could quote him, but I can't. If someone knows, comment on the YouTube
It was Greg.
thing. Greg did not write. Maybe he did, actually. He could have. Preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
You have?
Versions of this. Not the essay, but that, thinking is, that to me is thinking is different than doing.
Right.
My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I
haven't
asked
heard
you.
the
I
specific
was.
essay.
I think even if you did know what I was about to read, I'd read it for the audience anyways.
No, read it.
But here's the rest of it. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list for the thing isn't doing the thing. Telling people you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Messaging friends who may or may not be doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Writing a banger tweet about how you're going to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles in the way of doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Fantasizing about all the adoration that you'll receive once you do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading about how other people did the thing isn't doing the thing. Reading this essay isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing.
It's beautiful. That's fire.
It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. We're doing the thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, one more series of questions for you from the alter ego. And after I ask this, I'll go get you another drink. But I like how you're answering these.
Okay.
What are you
I'm passing? Did I pass the test?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
What have you been thinking about the most recently?
Jokes. I need some new jokes, probably, is what I'm thinking about. I'm like, what's funny? I've been thinking, when the fuck am I getting this third Diet Coke? Thanks, bro. These are the cutest little Diet Cokes ever.
They are pretty cute. How have you been feeling?
Content.
What have you been doing?
Experiencing, man. Just living life through no filter. Which before I had to put a mask, a filter on, but now it's like, oh, this is my true state, and it's cool to experience in that true state, whether it be condemning, whether it be comedy, whether it be dude, I remembered I got a paddleboard 5 years ago, and now I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go paddleboard, and I don't tell anybody about it. I just go out there, I'll throw it on the Instagram story as a little I'm up early flex, but just experiencing things.
You answered the last one already.
Yeah? I think I keep
It was
doing
going to
that.
be what have you been experiencing? As soon
Well, David, I've been experiencing things.
Things.
Ever heard of the river? Got a paddleboard.
There's this guy at my gym, and whenever you say, you know what's funny, he'll say jokes.
Is he autistic? Well, actually, jokes are very funny, don't you know?
But I've fallen for this trap now like
Yeah.
5 times, and I fell into it again just 2 nights ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, stop it.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest
I
joke
think
ever. Stop saying this to me.
Yeah.
And I think he keeps doing it because he likes like arousing. I'm
Yeah.
usually like a pretty happy dude. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say even keeled. I'm all over the place.
Sure.
And I'm a pretty like kind of guy. But I think he likes pissing me off.
Yeah.
In a way.
I believe it.
Almost like a child does.
Yeah.
It's a childlike aspect to him. You know, he's a grown man, but he likes that he has this ability to just irritate the fuck out of me.
Just getting a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
I get it. Just jokes. Jokes.
You know what's funny? Jokes.
I mean, to your argument, that's a very normal way to start a new conversation. Like, hey, listen to this funny thing that happened to me. Kind of sucks that he can't just be like, yeah, what's funny, man? What do you got?
Right.
He might be missing out on a really cool story or even an opportunity. What if you had a funny opportunity for him? He's just trying to be all jokes.
Jokes. All right, I want to get introspective with you for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this might take like 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have to pee?
No.
Can I?
Yeah.
And if the audience wants to go pee, well, this will all be cut out. So
Yeah.
go pee quick.
No, let's not cut it out and be like, all right, and I'll just stare at the camera until you're done peeing.
This is what I'm really curious about, because a few guests have done this, is when I go pee,
Yeah.
they'll start talking about something, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'll even be like, I wonder if David will cut this out. But I want to tell you guys that my next show is at East Austin Comedy Club on February 8th.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, this won't come out for like 2 months, so I don't know if you have shows booked for
No.
October. But those, if
Okay.
you do that, those are the ones you want to advertise.
Okay, good to know.
But feel free to talk.
No, I'm just
into the
going to
mic,
smash
or
my
just
own balls.
sit in silence or smash your own
Yeah,
balls.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I hate? When you
Things,
start
jokes. What?
I will slap you. I will punch you in the balls.
Yeah.
I'm good at it.
Yeah, you got experience.
I hate it when you pee and it starts yellow and by the time you're done it's clear. I don't like seeing, I'm okay peeing and it being yellow. I'm okay peeing and it's clear. But when it starts yellow and you see it getting lighter and by the
Okay.
time you're done it's clear, it's almost like, I don't know, it's just a visual I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And
And
now I
you're
just
probably-
put that in everyone's mind.
Yeah, well, you're probably like, am I hydrated or not?
Right.
Yeah, because clear pee is supposed to be good, I think. So it's like at first you weren't hydrated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you, man.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever noticed. I feel like all right, yeah.
All right, I wasn't planning on busting this out tonight, so if I clunker through the instructions here, I apologize.
Don't worry, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry at all.
Thank
I haven't done a podcast in a while. I'm like, say things correctly into a microphone. So you're good, bro.
You're doing great.
Okay.
You're a natural.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, this is fun.
Where can people find you?
Joe, my first name, last name, middle initial, Joe C. McNamara on everything. Instagram's the main thing I use. Sorry, it's mostly kendama videos. I need to look at some footage I have because I definitely have like some content worth posting that wouldn't be. I don't know. I have stuff that I could post and I don't. Joe C. McNamara at Instagram.
Your name's Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was John this whole time. No, I'm kidding.
You thought I was Greg? I'm like, back, motherfucker.
Do you have like full length? If you need to chop something up for the purposes of making like just shorter clips, do you do that yourself or do you hire someone to do it? Do you have a website?
I do it myself.
Have you heard of Opus Clips? You have $114?
Yeah.
It might be the best $114 you've ever
Yeah.
spent. So what I do is I take the full 2-hour episode,
Yeah.
I drop it into the website, and about 30 to 40 minutes later, it sends me 40 to 60 clips, captioned and ready to go.
No shit. It's probably all AI generated.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's given me the gift of time back.
That's cool.
It's been nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that.
All right, I'm curious to see how you'll react to this. So,
Okay.
in full transparency, I've had this printed out and it's been sitting under this desk, and I have been waiting for probably 30 to 40 guests to just feel like, when does this feel like it's the right one? I
right.
think it's tonight.
All right.
Just to build up some anticipation. You have very nice teeth, by the way. They're
Oh,
very
thanks,
white.
man.
Yeah.
A lot of whiteness. Okay, I thought
Smile?
I was.
Yeah, they look great.
Let's go.
Smile more, especially around
I'll
ladies,
s-
like
the whole-
just like that. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready? All right. For those listening at home, I want you to first off, this is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes, and I do want you guys to try to sit through the entire portion. So if you happen to be listening to this when you're normally driving, I really want you guys to be able to focus on this. Like I said, I think it will only last about 10 minutes tops. So it won't take too much of your time, but I want you to take this portion seriously. So if you're at the gym or on the road, hit pause and finish this later when you're at home. And I want you to grab your current journal or a sticky note and a pen. And then I put this in here, I forgot. If you can find about 10 minutes to listen to the portion of this episode where you can be alone, not distracted, somewhere quiet and peaceful, that would be ideal. The instructions is that I would like to tell you a story of a potential reality. I don't want to call it a prayer, and I don't want to call it meditation. It's a way to harness a few different abilities, and I'll explain what those are after we go through the exercise. So before we start, both myself, Joe, and you, the audience, are going to close our eyes and take 20 deep breaths. Then, Joe, you, and the audience are going to keep your eyes closed. I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes closed while I start speaking. Keep them closed until the very end when I say the end. While I'm reading this story, I want you to put your imagination to work, visualizing yourself as the main character of the story to the best of your ability. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
All
good.
right, so we're going to close our eyes together, 20 deep breaths, and then I will tell the story. You wake up. Your current life, being in David's home, recording an episode of the podcast, was just a dream. The actual reality, you live in a care home. You are your 90-year-old self, but if the worst version of yourself controlled your entire life was run by your worst personality traits: ego, fear, pride, envy, greed, narcissism, procrastination, lack of patience. All your time is spent in regret, replaying mistakes. You never took a risk or listened to your gut. You pushed your family and friends away. The lazy care home team never checks in on you. Every part of your old body aches like you've run a marathon. Your left eye no longer works. You've lost one of your hearing aids. You try to get out of bed. You collapse to the floor. You crawl into a wheelchair. In front of you is a giant clock. This clock has 5 minutes left on it. Above the clock, there are 7 words. How long you have left to live. Your heart sinks further. All the regrets get more intense and vivid. Bang, bang, bang. There's a knock at the door. You wheel across in your wheelchair. It requires all your body's strength to open the door. As the door opens, an overwhelming golden glow appears. Staring back at you is a person you recognize. It's you. But the person you could have become. It's the version of you if your best self made all your decisions. They are 90 years old, but they look much younger than you. With a massive smile on his face, your best self tells you stories of the fantastic life he had, the risks he took, the magic moments, the memories with friends and family. Where you zigged, they zagged. Your envy is overwhelming. You do anything to go back in time. Rage kicks in. You ask your best self to shut up. You then look over at the clock on the wall. It has 30 seconds left. You are about to die. Fear and regret intensify. The best version of yourself is about to leave the room. Before they go, they say, I've got good news. I can send you back in time. But you have to promise me this. Write down an action you'll do today that involves your best self, and an action to avoid your worst self. You shake hands, sign a contract, and promise to schedule it in your calendar. He opens his time machine. Wham! You're back in the present moment. You're the person that 90-year-old self was desperate to be. You have a clear list of actions and when you're going to do them today. Open your eyes and write down the agreement. The end. What is going through your head during that?
Probably gonna get Pete Terry's on the way home. Dude, did you create that narrative?
No.
That was powerful.
Did you tear up a little bit, or
Kinda?
Yeah, I did too.
This is very powerful. I think my action item would be to call my mom.
Why?
Because anytime I talk to her, I feel like I have an idea of what I should be doing, or what I if my mom thinks that what I'm doing is cool, and I can tell her some pretty crazy stuff, then I'm probably doing the right thing. Or I probably have a good baseline for what the next right thing is. And whether we talk about that right thing or not, I feel like I usually figure it out. I've gotten off conversations with my mom or family members or friends I care about, for that matter, and I have a better idea of what the next thing I'm going to do is, whether that be do this before a show, or go just do something I should do that I've been putting off, even if it's something as simple as dishes. Just set myself up for success in the short term, to set myself up, hopefully, for success in the long term. If that makes sense.
Makes a ton of
It
sense.
almost doesn't make sense when I'm saying it out loud, but I know I mean what I say. I think. No. And Pete Terry's on the way home for sure.
One action you'll take today to avoid your worst self.
Shit, maybe I shouldn't get Pete Terry's.
Sorry.
Yeah, dwelling on things. Just focus on what I can do. I mean, that's been, we've talked about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But just sitting there and thinking what I actually can do, because so many things are out of our control. Just focusing on what I can do. Like, I know I'm doing a show tomorrow at 6 p.m. I know I have X amount of minutes, and that's the only spot I have this weekend. And it kind of worked out that way, where I'm happy to have a free weekend. But what I could do is I could play video games until then, or I could be like, hey, these are the jokes that have been working. Maybe this is something that doesn't work, and I can actually organize what works. And maybe if I do that, then I'll figure out this new thing that I'm able to keep working on and, like, build something out of. Just one step to being more productive. Yeah. Did I answer correctly?
Yeah, there's no wrong answers.
Okay.
I mean, I guess a wrong answer could be,
Terry's
if
not
you had
loyal.
said if you had said something like, "Oh, I'm doing everything right."
Oh, that'd be scary.
I don't have anything I need to stop. My worst self is, he's dead already. I think that would be the only
That'd be
wrong
alarming.
answer. Yeah.
That'd be really alarming.
Yeah.
Damn. That was good.
The first time I read it, I got in an email. It's an email I get weekly, I believe. And it just had the instructions that I read to you guys, and then it was like, once you're ready to do this, click the link. And I think that the 20 deep breaths definitely has something to play in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I read it, man, I was sitting crisscross applesauce, on the floor facing the couch, and I read through it, and I just started sobbing at the end.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it was because I couldn't even tell you why. It was just so well written.
Yeah.
It just stirred something in me that hadn't been stirred in a while, I suppose.
Well, it's forcing you to look at yourself both now and then in the very hypothetical future or way down the road. Yeah. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. Where's your show tomorrow night?
I think East Austin.
You think?
Yeah. I say I think because I think I'm doing a spot. It isn't confirmed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
if it is there, it'll be at East Austin. Usually every weekend I do East Austin and then Black Rabbit, and that's usually Thursday through Sunday.
what time tomorrow night?
Early show, 6 p.m.
Show at East Austin at 6. I don't like to commit to things when I don't have my calendar in front of me.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I don't have anything going on tomorrow night. And if the schedule's clear, I'm going to come see you.
You ought to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't promise you I'm going to have my best jokes tomorrow night, but we'll see.
I still want to see. I want to see what this man has.
Yeah. The 6 p.m. show is
sleeve.
fun, too, because it's like if you do well at the 6 p.m. show, I feel good because it is kind of weird to do comedy that early, especially during the summer when the sun's still out.
Mm-hmm.
But I like getting a set in that early.
Maybe I'll bring my little friend from the gym.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, let's get you some ideas
Yeah.
for some better jokes.
Yeah, instead of fucking, yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Joe, this episode has been great.
Yeah.
Will you come back on in the future?
Absolutely.
Can we do a check-in?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's have you back on.
Let's do it, bro.
Anything else you want to talk about tonight?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm good, bro.
All right. Well, to you, the audience, thank you guys so much for being here. I got to say it again. Thank you, Joe, for being here.
Thanks
Joe
for having
knows. Joe McNamara? Did I
Yeah.
get all the letters right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Joe, go follow him on Instagram so that and if you live in Austin, please get out, go do something fun this weekend. I don't know when you listen to this podcast. Maybe it's a Tuesday and you're driving home from work. If you don't have any plans this weekend, regardless of what you're sitting in, go support your local comedians. Get your friends together, your partner, the person you're dating. Switch it up a little bit. Go to the local comedy club. Support the comedians on all the hard work they're doing. They're just trying to bring more laughter into the earth, which is something that I think we could all use right now. And forever. And also, if you stuck with us and you enjoyed this episode, please do me something that takes very little of your time and no money on your part. Go to Spotify and give this podcast a 5-star review. Go to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review and a written review. Leave some comments, leave some feedback, and then finally go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys do this for me, I promise that I will continue to work my ass off finding guests like Joe to come in and just bring value and laughter to your guys' life and build the show as big as I can. With that and lastly, to the person that we addressed earlier, if there is someone, actually, I want you to address this person. If you could have 60 seconds to talk to the person who has been debating, should I be in AA? Should I stop drinking?
Yeah.
Should I don't know which way I should go, and I'm too scared to maybe have that first conversation out loud with another human being. If you could speak to them for 60 seconds, what would you say?
Yeah, if you're asking yourself, should I do something? The answer is probably you should. And then if you do, the only thing you have to risk is being wrong. And if you're wrong, who cares? Maybe you'll be right next time. That's it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe knows.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, dude. I have that name because an old skateboarder was called, well, he's still prevalent, Mike Mo. everyone called him Mo Nose, and I was like, I want to be as good as him. So I just called this was since like I was like 15, and it just stuck with me, Joe Nose, and then whatever else.
You didn't skate here tonight, did you?
No,
I
no.
was gonna say,
That'd be
if
like
you
a
did,
4-hour.
You would have been drenched in sweat
Yeah.
going up that fucking Capital of
Yeah,
Texas highway. Yeah, I would have known if you had skated
Hey,
here.
sorry I'm late. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Have a happy and healthy Saturday night. We'll see you next week, people. Bye.